the limb centre. Well, I've only been here 25 minutes and I'm done. And I have to drive 2.5 hours each way, a 5-hour round trip for that appointment. It's really, really annoying, but there's nowhere nearer. So what we have done today is a casting, like I expected. So they wrap a plaster cast around my leg and take a mould, make a mould out of that, make a test socket. I'm coming back next week to try the test socket. I have to stay overnight and I take it away and walk around on it overnight, and then they adjust it, and then I come back again the following week when they give me the actual leg. So like I expected, my trips to get a leg come in threes, and it's a long way to come 3 times over. The artificial limb centre is opposite the hospital, but it's not actually part of the hospital. It's a separate service that is nationwide, and you get basic services provided for free if you are a citizen or permanent resident. But then if you want anything more complicated like cycling legs and all sorts of other things, you don't get that. So that's how it works here. I know it's not the same in England because I think the NHS would cover all the limbs and everything else, but no, the New Zealand Artificial Limb Service is a separate service to the public health system. I'm at Clair hot water pools, saltwater pools. This is in South Dunedin. There's a beach. South Dunedin, St Clair's a little township. It's attached to South Dunedin, and the pool is right on the beach. So over the wall, down the cliffs would be the beach. And I've never been here before, but somebody mentioned it, and I didn't know it existed, but I just hadn't even thought of it. It's sun shining, I want to swim, so it seemed like the perfect solution. Sorry if it's a bit dark. I have got the curtains closed because it's bloody hot. Even down here in Invercargill today, and the sun is shining in that window over there, so I've got the curtains closed. So yes, St Clair Pool was quite amazing. It is a pool that's run by the City Council, and it opens during the summer from October till March. And I knew it was there. I found it a few years back, but I'd totally forgotten about it, to be honest, till somebody mentioned it and said, why don't I go to swim there? Well, today couldn't have been a better day for my first day there. And it was the most amazing experience from a disabled person's point of view that I've ever had. This is how disabled life should be everywhere. Everyone can take a leaf out of the book of all the staff and all the customers down there at St Clair Pool. I rang them up before I went down to ask them what their disabled access was like, whether they had a changing room that had a shower seat, and how far away the disabled parking was. The person on the phone told me, yes, they had ramps, they had a shower seat in the family changing room, and described the steps and said that the staff would be there to help me and all that sort of jazz, and told me where the disabled parks were, and said that there was one that people often don't realise is there, and it's usually free, and told me where that one was. So when I came down, the one he described to me was actually free, so I parked there. And I went in and told the staff member behind the desk and what was happening. And she gave me a full rundown of where to go and how to get in and where the ramps all were and all that sort of jazz. And then after I came out of the changing room, having got changed, she walked with me right the way down all the ramps to the poolside. They arranged for somebody to take my bag and put it in the pigeonholes, because there's pigeonholes over at the side of the pool. And then once I'd gotten in, they supervised to make sure I could get in, because they were slightly different steps to the ones I'm used to. And once I got in, they took my crutches and put them over somewhere safe as well. And then took my water bottle and put it on the side of the pool. All of this without me really even asking. They just did it anyway. And then I there's half of the pool is lanes, as you can see in the video, and half of it is just recreational. And today was a really hot, sunny day, and there was a lot of people in there. But the lanes weren't too bad. There was two or three people in a lane at any one time, and it's a 25-metre pool, so there's plenty of space for 3 people. Salt water, which is not unusual to me because all of the open water pools in Australia that I've swum in are all salt water. So it's not a problem in that regard. So I just set off swimming, and I was just swimming up and down, doing my distance swim. And I had gotten into a lane with another guy who was really friendly, and I was passing him every so often. I was slightly faster than him. And so then that would mean that when I was coming up behind him, he would stop and wait and let me pass. And then another lady got in, and we had a chat as well. And she was swimming up and down. She would stop and start every now and again and let me pass. And nothing was mentioned about the fact there was an amputee or disability or anything at all. Everything was completely normal conversations, as if I was just any other person, even though I've never been there before and they've never seen me before. So I really wish that all my experiences in every place I went to was like that, because far too much of a big deal is made of the disability, and, you know, people being tits and racing you up and down and all that jazz. None of that happened. Everybody was perfectly normal, just like it was perfectly normal, all of the customers and all of the staff. So I went to the desk afterwards and asked them if they had any feedback forms, and he said, Oh, I'm not sure. We haven't been given any down here. Why? And I said, because I would like to pay you a compliment. Oh, right. And obviously this was not the norm, because they had to ponder over it between them for a while as to who was the best person for me to contact. And I said I wanted to make sure I got the right person. I wanted to know the names of all the staff, because I needed someone further up to know how well they had done disability access. And it's not usually this easy everywhere I go, and they were really quite surprised. So I'm going to contact Dunedin City Council, and I'm going to tell them how amazing that the staff were down there, and I am going to go back there next week when I'm back in Dunedin again for the Limb Centre again next week. The water is heated, so if it's raining outside, it doesn't matter. It's just like swimming in a man-made lake as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't matter. But obviously Dunedin in the winter does get snow, so the pool doesn't stay open all winter. It just opens in summer. But I left feeling pretty damned amazing, and I was sort of buzzing with the fact that I could actually access something like it was any other day, and I really wish everybody else would do it like that. So everyone else who manages facilities, take note, because it just makes your life much easier, and it makes me a happy person, and that I don't have to have an argument everywhere I go. So, drive home, here I am, just sitting, slowly melting, because it's still really hot, and even though I had my Factor 50 on, I think I might still need a rash vest if it's like this next week. Because of course, when I go back next week for my limb test socket fitting, I will be damn well going to St. Clair Pool. There is an assurance of that. And I'm going to try and fit in 2 of them if I can, just because it's really awesome. So the leg, it works the same. I have to get the plastic cast wrapped around me today, and away I go. And I thought that was what was going to happen. It's so exhausting having to drive so far. And then next week I go back and they make a test socket, same as last time. And they like bolt that on with temporary stuff. And that is so that when I walk up and down and have some physio and whatever, they can mold it, scrape it, change it and all that sort of thing. And then once they think they've got it right, they make the actual socket. Now, this is the same process I had last time, and it's going to be the same every time. So I'm going to know this now, and I am going to make sure that I contact them a bit sooner, because the prosthetist admitted that I had clashed with Christmas sort of thing, which had held it all up. And he has also said that he will put a skin covering on this leg, so it will look more leg-shaped. But he was not at all surprised by the volume of shrinkage in this limb. He said that was entirely what he expected, and it will continue to happen. Now, because the leg became too big and I stopped wearing it, it's not had the compression of the socket when I walk on it. Like I was telling you, when I walk on the prosthetic, it's like somebody squeezing your leg just below the knee each time you take a step. Because it's not had that, when I start wearing the next one, it will shrink further because it's got a bit more compression again. It's not had the same volume of compression, and it could well happen as fast as it has this time. He's warned me, so at least I'll know. The shrinker sock that I wear, not necessary anymore, but he did suggest that I keep it on as a slight little bit of protection when I'm not wearing the leg, but I don't have to obsess over it like I did before, which is really cool, because when it's a really hot day, it's like wearing tights on a hot day. So that was good news as well. So test leg next week. I have to stay overnight, walk around on it overnight and all that sort of thing, come back the next day, and then I can't take it away, obviously, and then they make the real leg. So I'm hoping that on 3 weeks again, I'll be back on 3 weeks, I'll be back up on 2 feet again, and the interval between this one and the next one will be slightly longer, and I'll get in slightly faster, and I won't be off the leg quite as long. Because it's so useless, I'll let him have it. He said, did I want to take it away with me? They could make me another one. I said, there's no point, because it's just far too big and I can't even wear it. So I've left him the leg so he can take the parts apart and use them again for the next one. And the socket, I've asked him if I can keep it, because I want the size as a reference point. I think it'll be really cool to see it shrink and shrink and shrink. So that is what happened today. All pretty positive. And I'm going to have to be careful of the back of my neck, even though I had factor 50. It's a mean-ass sun that we have down here in southern New Zealand, I tell you what. So have a lovely evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.